All right, fifth grade, welcome to the last math lesson for the first week in January. Pull out the last page of your packet. It should say 4.8 homework at the top. All right. Today we're going to be working with multiplying by decimals that are greater than 1. Okay, so similar idea to what we've been doing all week, but a little bit harder. Okay, let's jump into our first example. Let's say that you have the decimal 4 and 2/10, and you're going to multiply that by 8 and 1/10. Okay? Remember, first thing I do is forget about the decimal points and just do some two-step multiplication. Let's do the two-step. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. All right, let's do the next row. Remember, put a placeholder. Now let's start multiplying by 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Write down the 6. Carry the 1. 8 times 4 is 32. Plus 1 is 33. There's nowhere to carry to the 3, so we put it right down. Now we go ahead and add together. 2 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 6 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 3 plus nothing is 3. Now before you say that your answer is 3,402, remember, I need to go back and count decimal places. Decimal point, how many numbers are to the right? 1. Decimal point, how many numbers are to the right? 1. So how many numbers in total are to the right of all the decimal points? 1, 2. So that means my answer needs to have 1, 2 decimal places. The decimal point goes right there. And now I read it as 34 and 2/100ths, or 34.02. Let's do that one more time. Let's take a look at 24 and 3/10. Now we're going to multiply that by 7/100ths. Okay? And you might be confused, why didn't I line up the decimal points? Because remember, first semester we learned that whenever you add or subtract decimals, you have to line up on the decimal point. But you don't have to do that when you multiply. In fact, you probably shouldn't, because it'll just add a lot of unnecessary numerals. The reason why I don't have to is because of what we've been doing on our last step, counting the decimal places. All right, let's jump into some two-step. 7 times 3 is 21. Carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. Carry the 3. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 3 is 17. Nowhere to carry the 1, so I put it there. Now, you're used to doing 2 more rows, but let's take a little shortcut today. Do I really need to do 2 more rows when both of them are zeros? You know that any number multiplied by 0 is 0. So you already know the answer to those 2 rows. They're going to be full of zeros. And you already know that any number plus 0 is that same number. So I could go through and put my 2 rows of zeros and then add it to 1701, or I could just know and jump to the answer that my answer is going to be 1701. Let's count decimal places now. Here's a decimal point. One number to the right. Here's a decimal point. One, two numbers to the right. So how many numbers total are to the right of the decimal point? 1, 2, 3. So in my answer, I need to have 1, 2, 3 numbers to the right of the decimal point. I now read my answer as 1 and 701 thousandths, or usually people say 1.701. All right, put that into practice today on 4.8 homework.